Hello, hello, everybody. I'm back. Last week,
Yay.
just the solstice, I don't know, energy just didn't want me to be on Zoom. So we were
Nope.
like, Jenna,
Didn't
take the lead.
happen. I did. I did it all by myself. Are you proud?
I am, and I like loved listening to it. I was like, oh, you like shouted me out all the time. I was like, oh,
I
hey,
had to I
Jenna's
had to
there.
tap into your energy even though
Yeah.
you weren't there to
Oh,
provide
yes,
provide
absolutely.
to our listeners.
Yes.
It was funny too because it came out on my birthday.
Oh my
I
gosh,
was
yes, it
I like
did.
as I was
That's so fun.
editing it and getting it posted and stuff. I was like, "Oh, this is funny. Scheduled for June 26th. Little Jenna episode on my birthday."
Okay, that's even more perfect
I
than
know.
we thought it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so it
so
was good.
fun.
We hope you enjoyed it. If you have
Yes.
any projector follow-up questions, don't hesitate to send them our way. I think a part two would be fun when Jess
Yes.
can join.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to ask you some more questions.
But today we are kind of flipping the script and we're going to talk about being a generator, but not just being a generator, living authentically as a generator. And we're going to bust some generator myths and
Yes, we are.
hopefully help those generators out there, our generators, find like their special sauce, their
Yes.
special joy sauce.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the main goal as a
Hmm.
generator. Find
Yeah.
that secret sauce and spread it wherever you can.
Oh God, I'm loving this energy already. Okay, Jess, let's find your special sauce.
Ooh, oh, I feel like I'm in a game show. Like, okay,
Dun,
let's
dun,
do
dun, dun,
it.
dun. No, before we dive into your special sauce,
Yes.
maybe we do a quick overview of the generator type. Last
Sure.
week I kind of did like, what's the textbook of a projector? Like, what are you
Mm.
gonna first learn when you're out in the world finding human design,
Yep.
tapping into your generator type, or maybe you know a generator, date a generator, have birthed a generator.
Yep.
What is that information? What's it like to be a generator, Jessica?
Ooh, yes. Okay, so generators. Out of the five energy types, we are the most common energy type. And we're like really, so we have a defined sacral, and this defined sacral is all about life force energy. So we are kind of like the worker bees of society. And really our main role is to do work that lights us up. And I want to say like work in air quotes, like to do
Mm-hmm.
work. Um, but to do that work that really lights us up, because when we're doing work that lights us up, we actually raise the vibration of the whole entire world.
Powerful.
So powerful. And it's kind of like if you like throw a rock into water and you can see it ripple out, it's like that raising of the vibration. Like it's first your people, then your network, then your community, then your town. Like it's this like just expanding, just rippling out effect of raising the vibration. But if you're not doing work that lights you up, that you
Mhm.
have joy and expression with, then that raising of the vibration isn't really going to be happening. And
You're
there's going
like
to
the
be,
rock just sinking to the bottom.
yes,
Sad.
it's just not, no rippling happening. And there's probably like disease, illness,
Mhm.
low energy, like, there's things that are out of balance in that generator's energy and aura when that doing work that you love is not in coherence, like not being expressed and not in alignment.
Mhm. So, how did you feel when you discovered that you were a generator? I feel like it's half and half, and that's with every
Mm,
energy type. Like
sure.
half the projectors are like, "Oh, thank God." Like, "Whoo, I'm a projector.
Right.
I can guide and relax now."
Yes.
Some of them are like, "What the heck? No, I'm, running my own business. What do you mean I can only do 3 hours of work?" Like there's,
Yes.
diverse responses that people have, which is totally valid to this information. How was the experience for you learning that you were a generator? Did it land? Did it feel good?
Yes. I was just
Hmm.
like, duh. Of course I am.
Obvi.
Yeah. Like, well, yep, that's me. And it was one of those like, I don't know if it was the first one discussed or like the last one. I don't know where in the rotation. But looking at things, I was like, well, it was like elimination. I know I'm not a manifester or a projector, like, and definitely not a reflector. Like, yeah, no, cross us
Yeah.
out. And I was like, I don't think I'm an MG generator. Yeah, that sounds more my speed. Like, that's
Oh, I
probably right.
love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
Yeah.
But I don't think everyone's as lucky because I think
No.
there's some storylines around generators that maybe, and I don't know, like we said before we jumped on, I was like, is this just my projector self
Mm,
being like,
sure.
ooh, work? Like,
Right.
what? Like that is that coming from the I, myself, my experience that I'm like, I feel like you guys don't get enough recognition and
Mm,
celebration of your unique gifts
sure.
because you're not as a small of percentage as maybe a manifester, projector,
Right.
reflector. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like projectors get a lot of like hoots and hollers, like, oh, you're so unique. You're so wise. Manifestors, you can do whatever you want. And then I feel like generators, it's like, okay, now you guys go to work.
Yeah. Get to work,
And I
please.
feel like that sucks. So do you get that feedback
Yeah, oh,
in
yeah.
the narratives in human design? Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
I let's dive into those because I
Sure.
want everybody who's a generator knows a generator to feel
Oh,
so
yeah.
special and
Oh,
loved
yeah.
up on the way that the rest of us are.
Yes. Absolutely. Like I'm here for it. Like
Mm,
it totally
okay.
is. Because yeah, there can definitely be, especially if it's just high level, if you're just high level, a couple of,
Yeah.
snippets or a paragraph, that sort of thing for a generator, you probably are left like, oh, okay, cool,
Very good
great.
point. Very good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That like initial
Yes.
information is, like I said, textbook, it's standard,
Right.
it's merp. Like
Yes. That may not feel
you
so
work.
great.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, so you said you're here to work. You have this
Yep.
life force energy. You're here to raise the vibration through aligned work.
Yep.
The low frequency that or the myth of that could be that like you are a worker bee. You're here to work hard.
Yes.
How do you feel when I say that as an aligned generator?
I align
Bullshit.
to that. Yeah, right. I align to like the worker bee side of it because of how
Mm-hmm.
I interpret what that means. The work hard, I'm like, ugh, yeah, ugh, fine,
No.
whatever. Yeah. But I've talked to a lot of generators who really do not like the phrase that like you're a worker bee. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot really reject it. And I wouldn't say that's the case for me, but it's because I see it as a positive. Like when things are aligned, dang, I can do the doing. Like
Get her
let's get
done.
after it. Yeah, like I'm here for it. But if people are looking at that worker bee of like I'm doing the same task day in and day out, clocking in,
Mm-hmm.
clocking out, like, oh no, that sounds miserable. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want no part of that at
So
all.
how do we like reframe this worker bee? What's the new trendy
Ooh.
word we want to use? Is it
Oh,
like I'm an inspired worker? Like
I
I'm an
mean, that's very
inspired
accurate.
creative? Because creative doesn't
Oh,
necessarily mean that you're an artist. We've been talking about
nope.
creative living. You
Yep.
are here to create things, produce.
Yes, absolutely. And really here to like support as
Mm,
well, right? Like
yeah.
a generator can often be like the missing piece. Like if there is struggle and things to like complete or to have progress.
Literally, as you're saying this, not to interrupt, I'm like, you do complete me.
Oh,
Like the missing piece, like on last week's episode, I felt like I was just rambling away with myself. And like, had you been there, I would have been like, like complete. That's why we work well together. You like absolutely are needed.
yeah. And that's
You
why
are
there's
that support.
so quote unquote many of us. Sounds kind of cultish when I say it that way, but when there's a highest percentage, because like things do need to get done. Like
Yeah.
society needs to evolve. And to
Yes.
do that, like people need to do things, like things need
Hmm.
to literally
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Like the world needs to evolve. Like
Yes.
you're not just working to like fill your
Yes.
effing day or like
Right.
to get a
No.
paycheck. Like you guys are great and inspired and just magnificent at like producing work
Yeah.
because the world needs this type of work, needs
Hmm.
work to
Hmm.
move forward. Like we
Yeah.
need inspire. It's like inspired action. You guys are the people who take
Yes.
the most inspired action.
And When a generator is in that vibration, in that inspired action, where it's like so effortless, right? Like it's just like
Mm-hmm.
automated. It is so juicy and so attractive.
So juicy.
Like it's undeniable. People will just flock to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want to be a part of what you're doing. They want you to help them with, they want a piece of that, is kind of like
Yeah,
the energy that it gives off. It is
for
like
sure.
the most attractive when it's in alignment. Now, do a lot of generators actually experience that?
Soon they will.
Yes.
Soon
We're
we all
all we're
will.
all getting there.
Let's put a positive spin on it.
Yes. But it definitely, if you're like, what? Like, I'm not like a magnetic energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. It's within you and it's within everyone. But for a generator, it's like, I don't know, like a whole other level when things are in
Yeah.
alignment.
Yeah. I can totally agree and attest to that, knowing generators in my life
Yeah.
and knowing ones that are in alignment and not, or doing work that lights them up and aren't.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some tips for this myth of you are a worker bee? I mean, semi-true, but that seems very old paradigm language to be a worker bee. Like, I think
It
that's what
does.
maybe trips people up. It's like
Yes,
outdated. It's like an
it
outdated
is.
word. You are an inspired worker, an inspired creative.
Yeah,
You take inspired
absolutely.
action.
Yes.
Um, how do we invite a response from these generators to kind of let that go, that identity go of being the worker bee and becoming inspired?
Yeah, I mean, I think like that inspired action really resonates with
Mm-hmm.
me. It's mm, like action is doing, but inspired is in response. So I think it's this
Ooh, look at that breakdown. That was good.
it's this really lovely, I didn't highlight strategy for generators. Um, but it's waiting to respond. So I think that inspired action does really, I don't know,
Mhm.
that really sits well with me.
Yeah,
It's both.
good.
It's encompassing that.
Yeah. So if you're not feeling like you're responding to things that are aligned to you right now, or you're responding to everything, or you
Yeah.
don't even know
Right.
what you're doing, you're just showing up to work,
Right.
take a moment to just say, like, what am I inspired by today?
Yes.
And how
Yes.
can you do more and produce more in that area
Yep.
or that direction?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Next myth. You don't
Ooh.
need rest.
Yes. Because we have this defined sacral. It's like then this notion of like you have this fire burning inside you 24/7. Like,
No charging needed.
yes. Oh my gosh. Right?
Even my iPhone Pro 14 dies on me sometimes, and that means I had way too much screen time in work
Mhm,
and in
mhm.
life, but it still dies. I don't care. It's a great generator energy, but
Right.
it
It needs
dies.
to be plugged in.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's so perfect. That is so perfect. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's this like we're human. So, like,
No.
we need to remember we're human. And yes, we can do this inspired action, you know, eh, doing things that light us up is it's not even that it feels effortless, to be honest with you, but it is very flowing. It's like,
It's like motivating. Like it
yes,
just feels full body good to do that type of action, to
it totally
take
does.
action.
Yes.
But even good things that feel good have to
Yep.
stop at some point so that we
Yeah.
can feel the opposite and have that polarity.
Yes. And as a generator, on a daily basis, we are meant to like quote unquote use up our energy. So if we
Mhm.
start in the morning with a full take of energy as a generator, we are literally here to have it go to E. Now we're not here for it to be past empty, right? Like, I mean, now I'm thinking of other people's charts, but I'll keep this general. Like just use it up,
Mhm.
not under, not over. And when we do that, we tend to sleep real great.
Mhm.
We're not individuals who necessarily need a nighttime routine or like a long wind down. Like if we're doing things or organizing something or
Mhm.
whatever in the evening, and then it's like, okay, ready for bed, in bed. Now I'm asleep. That can be very much a reality for a
Yeah,
generator.
that's so
But
lovely.
if you're somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I toss and turn, I wake up, I don't sleep well, then it's looking back and going, well, how am I utilizing this energy I have in the
Mhm.
day, and it's likely things aren't so aligned,
Mhm.
and or not utilizing like your physical energy.
Mhm. Enough of it.
So this whole idea around rest, like that can also be a part of it. Like things can be skewed from that perspective as a
Mm.
generator too.
I love that. And when you aren't using it up, like, cause you're like talking about this tank, and if you're
Yeah.
using up your full tank with inspired action, you're going to sleep really well.
Oh, so
But if you're
good.
using it like 10% inspired action,
Yeah.
and then the other 90% is just like things you hate or aren't enjoying
Yeah.
in your life that don't bring you joy,
Right.
that's not that you're not using the energy
Mhm.
wisely. And so you
Yep.
could not sleep, you could be
Yep.
jittery or whatever it is.
Absolutely. And like that 90% is probably full of things you feel like you should be
Mhm.
doing. That's a very common item for generators because we do have this sacral energy. We technically have energy to do lots of different things and support lots of different people. But again, if we're not coming back to, but does it light us up? Does it give us
Mhm.
joy and fulfillment? Well, if it doesn't, it's a should. Well, I
Mhm.
should do this, I should do that. And like even just saying it, it's like, oh, what a drag. Like,
Yeah,
ugh.
I have this very weird metaphor coming to mind.
Oh, yes, please
It's
share.
like, you want to put a full tank of gas in your car, but like if you're doing only 10% action, you're only putting 10% of like gasoline, fuel, and the other
Yep.
90% is like ketchup.
Ketchup.
And it's like, how am
Ketchup
I
isn't
supposed
gonna
to
run the
run and have a
vehicle.
good day and sleep well when I
Yeah.
fueled myself with ketchup? Because like the
Yeah.
doing is fuel as much as the
Yes.
rest is. Like the doing is the fuel, the moving is the fuel.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So, how much
Absolutely.
ketchup or gasoline is in your life? Is it a nice balance, even if you can't always be
Yes.
running on the most aligned action, inspired action? Because,
Yep.
you know, we're right in the middle of a paradigm switch, and we're all learning and healing and growing. Just make sure it's not full of ketchup.
Yes.
I have no idea why that came to mind, but
I love it. It's a very
mm,
easy visual though.
yeah,
It is not gasoline.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's a big part of it. I won't go down that rabbit hole anymore, but we'll see if we kind of loop back around for some thoughts there.
Um, okay, wait, I want to see. So, like, it is finding that sweet spot. That was the other
It
thing. Did I
is.
say that already?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's like, yeah, I feel like it's experimenting with your day, with the work you're doing, and finding that sweet spot of like, okay, right here is where I'm like, I did what I was meant to do for the day,
Yes.
and letting go and
Yes.
resting. But
Yes.
point is, you're allowed to rest as a
You are.
generator. It's
Yes.
bullshit and not fair that you guys aren't invited to rest as much as we are. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't need it as much, but you
It-
should be invited as much.
right. Right. And like things that I really enjoy is like reading outside. Right? Like
Hmm.
that's like rest for a generator, right? Like I'm not like
Hmm.
physically using my body and like it's so I so enjoy it. And I
Hmm.
typically read before bed. Like that's kind of quote
Hmm.
unquote a nighttime routine, but it's like it's just lovely. Like that's kind of my form of rest.
Yeah, and it sounds like too this rest is boundaries between the work that you did or the people you supported.
Yes.
It's like how does that
Boundaries is
feel?
so important. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because you said it, you have the energy to do it all, and
Yeah.
so and people can feel that from you, and you've probably been doing it most of your life, doing all the things for all the people.
Yeah.
So you're in that habit of serving and people pleasing, maybe.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Um,
Just a little bit.
so creating boundaries is an
Yes.
act of rest and self-love.
It will be the biggest shift in a generator's life is when and it's not just boundaries, but it's boundaries that really honor your yeses and your nos. And that comes back to that sacral, defined sacral, whether you have a sacral authority or an emotional authority, like you still have sacral, like it's still such
Mhm.
a core pillar of being a generator. But when your boundaries are lining up to allow the space for your yeses to be lived and to be expanded, and then also for those boundaries to honor the no or the not right
Mhm.
now in a way that still feels really good for you to communicate or express whatever, however that unfolds. Oh man, like opportunity, like all the things are going to come your way for you to respond to. And it's just going to keep getting like better and better. And that sacral is going to just get more tapped in and more aligned.
Mm, I love
Yeah.
that.
But
So
it's like a lifelong, like that's not like a turn on, yay, great. It's all wonderful
yeah,
for the rest of my
I was gonna
life.
ask you, like, what has your experience been with like following your joy?
Yeah.
It's a practice of following and recognizing your joy and setting boundaries and saying no to what doesn't light you up. So like,
Yeah.
how has that balance been for you? Has it gotten easier? Where do you maybe like trip up and end up doing more than your generator being wants to?
Oh, yeah. I mean, geez, this is like, it's kind of like a roller coaster being a non-emotional being. That's not like the greatest visual to
Yeah.
say, but it like goes, there's like phases, stages,
hmm
seasons, that
hmm
sort of feeling with it. Because there are times where it's like, I'm clear. I'm clear, know where I'm headed, know where that joy is. And then there's other times where it's like, it's a little murkier. Well,
Like,
huh.
where is my energy going?
Uh-huh.
What am I putting in my tank? Like,
Yeah.
what's back there?
Yeah. Cause that shift, that can happen very quickly, getting murky, like, oh wow, that actually wasn't a yes. Like I wasn't actually really tapped into my body when I
hmm
committed to this item, whether it's big or
hmm
small. So now I'm in it. I'm like, oh, ooh, a lot to
hmm
learn right here. Like, okay, like this is, and then you can go back and go, okay, well, why did my mind think this was a yes? And it's likely a should
A belief.
umbrella. Yes. The old pattern conditioning, something there. So there's always something that like you can pivot and learn from. But if you're not giving yourself that space to kind of audit, ooh,
Beautiful. Yeah.
what's off when it is feeling murky? Because it just takes those little tweaks because I mean, it'll get teed up for you again. Like that
Yeah.
same trigger or pattern will come up.
It's like almost like you guys as generators, since we keep using like car examples, like
We're going with
once
it.
you get on the train of like shoulding all over yourself or
Yes.
in a response habit that's like taking like once you're on the tracks, it can sometimes be hard probably to be like, oh wait,
Yeah.
no, I'm like farther away from my joy. What the fuck happened?
Well,
Because
yeah.
you have the energy to keep the
Mhm.
thing moving.
Yes.
And at some point it's gonna be like, ew, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah. And out of all the five energy types, generators, when we say yes, we are saying our sacral, like our body, is on board. Like, yes, we are very much a committed
Yeah.
energy. So when
Yeah.
we say yes to something,
We
we're
mean
going to
it.
see it through.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes, that's
something
what
that I
I'm
don't
yeah.
think generators actually like honor because there's
Mhm.
a lot of power in that. There's a lot of
If it's on the right tracks or in the right
yes.
direction, I mean, that is so powerful.
Like who doesn't want that on their team?
Yeah.
Like that
Any
committed
team, I'm thinking
eh,
like house team, roommates,
yes. Oh,
family, any team in
any.
business. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. But then for the self, for the generator, it can be very easy to, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Cause you're like, oh yeah, that's going to take me like no time at all. Like, got it. Cool. I'm good at it. I can
Full
do
body,
it.
yes.
Right. But it may not be. Like, it may just
Yeah.
be this like conditioned autopilot.
Yeah.
So once you like actually sit back and you're like, what do I want to commit to? Whether it's a minute of my day or the next month of my life, like, we
Mhm.
got to look at it through that lens of like commitment because woo, it like puts a level of like, all right, where is my sacral at? Like how is this body response
Where
going
am
versus
I?
being in your mind and just like how do I want to please the people around me today and like not honor my boundaries because that seems
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like I'm even just thinking in like how that's in contrast to being a projector.
Oh yes.
I feel like we know much quicker when we
Sure.
said yes to something or said yes to an invitation because
Yeah.
like 2 days later we're like, "Wow, I'm tired."
Yeah, sure.
Like it's like our bodies will shut down on us much quicker. Our
Yeah.
energy will give out much quicker and so we
Yes.
can kind of identify that a little bit more,
Yeah.
that this isn't right for me. Wait a second, this doesn't feel good, because we are taking in more of the energy around us. But like you said, you guys have the energy to see it through. So I think the mind can get a
Yep.
little too involved,
Oh yeah.
because the body can keep going,
Yes.
even
Yes.
if it's not meant to.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
feel like this kind of brings us to a third myth of,
Yeah.
you're not all the same. You're not
We
all
are
the same. Just
not.
because generators are common, you are not a common person.
Oh, that's
You
I just like, oh,
know?
thank you.
Like you're not all supposed to be on the same train riding down the same tracks. Like,
Right.
I think I wanted to kind of bring this up because I personally, as a projector, feel like I get a lot of recognition, especially in the human design community and in this industry. I
Mhm.
feel like projectors are seen as these little wise beings, and like
Yeah.
everybody celebrates us and what we share. And I think we're at a time too where we're releasing that hard work. We're releasing that pressure to do things that we don't want to do. And like,
Mhm.
here comes projectors. Like, okay, that's exactly, you're here to teach us.
Yeah.
But you, as generators, are also unique and special and are
Yeah.
here to work in different ways, bring
Mhm.
different types of joy to different
Yep.
experiences.
Yep.
Um, so anyone that is feeling that like initial, oh, I'm a generator, or maybe getting annoyed with like the projectors and the ones just telling everybody what to do, like, you are here to be celebrated
Yeah.
and find that special sauce within you.
Yes. Yes. Yes, because I think that is a big differentiator. Like it's what like sets generators apart from the other energy types is like that inspired action, that aligned
Mhm.
work. It's like magnetism on just a whole different level.
Let's talk like about that aligned work. Like,
Yeah,
what are some different examples? Maybe even
sure.
just in your life,
Mhm.
different ways that you're taking inspired action
Yep.
compared to how someone else might.
Yeah. So this is where like looking more specifically at charts can also kind of
Mm,
like be
yeah.
a bridge for people if you are feeling like it's just no clarity is happening.
Mhm.
Like you can even see like the centers you have defined or undefined, or your
Mhm.
profile or incarnation cross, or like all those things can kind of help put some pieces together for your experimentation to kind of really see.
Mhm.
Um, but a big thing for me, and I know we've mentioned this in other podcasts too, is like my inner circle, my people are so important to me, and I love the people in my life, and that's like a big
Mhm.
North Star, big alignment area throughout my chart in many ways. So when I get to spend an afternoon with my family, with my friends, with my girlfriends, like I'm not on my phone. I'm not checking the time. I am in it, playing with the kiddos, hanging out with whoever, like having conversations, laughing, just so present. I
Yeah.
freaking love it. I love it. So that very inspired action. Like
Mhm.
me being in the environment of my people is so life-giving to me. And I know for myself, like I need more than ideally more than like an hour with the person. Like if we can like, oh, we're coming over, we're hanging out, we're having dinner, ideal. Can I come for the whole day? Cool. Like I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out.
Please.
Yeah.
The door
I
is
won't
unlocked.
I won't overstay my welcome, but I will be there. So those are, but like also, I'll give some examples for like physical movement because I do feel like it's important for a generator no matter
Mhm.
what's going on. But like right now, living at the lake, got a paddleboard literally that I can see right here. Like I've gone out on it quite a few days. So like just getting out on the water and
Mhm.
paddleboarding, going for hikes, going for walks, moving my body, like doing kind of whole body exercise, whether that's like a Pilates, a video, whatever. Like that's just my preference. Um, but that physical movement piece, and I'm noticing I really enjoy it in the middle part of the day because I do have the flexibility and it just works. Like mentally, it's also really beneficial. Like I can do my first
Mhm.
part of the day, then I can go for a walk or do it, whatever. And then I kind of have my next part of the day. But again, whatever works for your season of life and your schedule. But not bringing up physical movement, I feel like would be a miss if we didn't
Yeah,
for generators.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then how about like in work and career?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that can be a space. I mean, all of these spaces, a generator can fall or be handed misaligned work or end up taking
Yes.
on more than they want or things that they don't want
Yes.
in family and relationships and all the areas. But I definitely think work is probably a space where people are like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not lit up by my job or I
Yep.
don't enjoy the work I'm doing. How can we help them like bust this myth that you're supposed to just stay there and be the worker and
Yes.
rather invite them to find that inspiration in work? Like how do you find inspiration in work when it's not maybe
Hmm.
a task or a day or a season where it's
Yeah.
very juicy?
Yeah. Yeah. So actually think one area that people can look at is with their profile to see kind
Mhm.
of that special sauce, what it's looking like. Because for me, if I am working with someone or in an environment with somebody that I'm not jiving with, that's real hard. Like that's
Mhm.
that path is not going to last long. Like
Yeah,
I got to be very aware of that. So
because of your
now,
line 4.
yes, line
Just to
4.
shout out the number.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Um but like if you were a line 1 and like you weren't given the opportunity or you didn't feel like you had the time or space to investigate, to do a
Mhm,
deep dive, okay, well, like, where could you? What would that
mhm.
look like? Are there little moments of doing that? So like with your profile, you can kind of see those kind of
Yeah,
micro and macro areas.
kind of like a guiding post
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
back to inspired action. And I would just want to
yes,
say too, your signature and your not self can be
yes, yes,
clear, very easy indicators throughout your
yes.
day.
Hmm.
Where are you feeling frustrated?
Yes,
Is it related to the thing you're doing? Is that because it's not inspired action? Some things we just have to do and work through, but becoming aware that like I'm not going to invite more of this into my life. I'm not
hmm,
going to keep responding to this. Maybe I'll
yes,
honor the commitment that I have, but if I'm like
yes,
super frustrated every day when I'm showing up in this workplace or in this specific project, that's
yep,
on you to like notice
hmm,
that frustration.
hmm, yeah,
Maybe it needs processed by paddle boarding, but
yeah,
maybe it's
right,
also just not meant for you, that type of work. And then the
yes,
signature is satisfaction. So also paying attention to where you feel very satisfied in the work
yep,
you're doing in the relationships you have,
absolutely,
because
yeah,
that's going to get you closer to your unique sweet
yeah,
sauce of like
oh,
what are you
very
meant, what kind
much,
of joy are you meant to bring to the world, because it's
yes.
different than another generator's work and joy.
Absolutely is. Absolutely. And like I love doing like just quick audits. Like for a lot of generator clients, I will just have them for like a week or two at the end of the day. Just be like, okay, I want you to write down where were you frustrated? Like riff or just a statement, like whatever comes out, let that come
Yeah.
out. But then also look at it and be like, but why? Like
Yes.
what's here? What's happening? And you'll start to see patterns so quickly just by looking at that not self and seeing what's
Yeah.
coming up. And you can do on the flip side with satisfaction if you're really wanting to like hone in on that satisfaction, on that signature piece for your energy, to have more of that kind of those opportunities continue to show up in your life. But yeah, that's such a good point around the signature and not self.
I love that.
Hmm.
Those are, I like, it's weird. I know them and I'm aware of
Right.
them.
Right.
But for some reason, sometimes I'm like, why am I not checking in with me as a
Sure.
projector, bitterness and success? Like
Yep.
it's like they're hella metaphors today.
We're going with it.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I always love a good metaphor,
Yeah.
but they're like the bumpers on a bowling alley.
Oh, yes,
Like on the
absolutely.
left, you have for me bitterness, on the right success. And when I bump
Totally.
it, like, although I think I want to keep bumping into success, so
Right.
maybe it's
Right.
not the best metaphor.
Maybe it's just the not self.
Yeah, true.
Maybe
Both
like
sides are the not self.
the strike is a success. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, never mind. The bumpers are you're not self.
Yeah. That's so
Oh
good.
God.
That's so good. But how
Um,
I use it a lot is when I have moments of frustration, I'm starting to more and more be like, "Ooh, frustration. Ooh, oh, okay.
like it's exciting.
Yeah,
It's
like
like
I feel you
wisdom.
right now. Like you are
Yeah.
here. Um, and that just helps. It helps for that awareness, which I have to say, every podcast
Yeah.
episode.
Just be aware. You'll be
Just be
fine.
aware, guys. That's the best. But it is not like that is really useful, like in the moment.
Yeah.
And also honoring it, right? Like
Yeah.
if I got emotions to get out, well, they're gonna come out. But then to be like, wow, I felt that trigger. I felt that
Mhm.
shift and like, whew,
And it's like when
frustration.
you're feeling frustrated as a generator, you're bringing that into the world.
Yes.
That's what you're rippling. I mean, when we're not in our not
Yes.
self,
Yeah.
we amplify whatever energy we're focused on. So if you stay in that frustration, you're also bringing that to your circles, to
Yeah.
your work. So it is on you and on all of us to kind of recognize that, because
Yeah.
we need generators to
Hmm.
raise the vibration and be in your joy and be in your satisfaction.
Yeah. Like that's what it comes down to.
Hmm.
We're here to have a joyful life, like
Yeah.
literally as a generator.
And I feel like this whole like myth of like, I mean, I don't know if these are like very explicit myths yet, but this idea that you're all the same or you're more common, like that
Yeah.
just grouping of generators. I think it's also important, even though I don't think we spoke to this, oftentimes a generator will find something they love to do and kind of, like you said, follow it through, or
Hmm.
be very committed to maybe one job or one company or industry or
Sure.
person. Like you can get very lit up by that one thing and take it take
Yes.
it all the way.
Yes.
So if we're like thinking about this in the sense of career and the purpose discussion that we had 2 episodes ago,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's truth in that, but there's also the permission for you to change your mind too. Like,
Yes.
because like you're not a MG, you might not be doing 10 million things at once,
Nope.
but it's not on you to finish something to the end if you are miserable. Like you are invited to change and change your mind.
Yes. And what will likely come up that's particular for generators is like one aspect is we are really here to master something in our
Yes.
lifetime. So versus that manifesting generator that can be like bing 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 I'm doing this and now I'm doing this and now I'm over here
Yeah.
like cool that's how you're like non-linear being you do
Yes.
you generator we're more like stepwise okay let's like get our mastery on so that's typically where it's going to come up when you like that joy will just start going away and you go oh I
Mm-hmm.
thought these were the skills I wanted to develop
Mm-hmm.
turns out not so much so then that's when you can start to get that clarity on
Yes.
like well what is that and you'll see that doors start to open, opportunities start to naturally come your way. So it's not like this, I quit. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe it
Or,
will.
and it's not like you have to stay there until you die
Yes.
because you're a
No.
generator and you're mastering something. Like there's
Yep.
permission for you to follow that joy, even if it's in a new direction.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yep. We're just cool. We're just cool energies.
Oh my God. I love it. We're just like, we're really cool.
We're just so cool.
The end. You are so cool. And
I mean, you are too.
there is nothing better than a generator in their authentic joy and in
Mm-mm.
their own authenticity and
Mm-hmm.
honoring inspired action for themselves. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing like it,
Yeah.
especially for us non-sacrals, because
Right.
I'll leave this conversation today and all of a sudden I will feel satisfaction. I will feel aligned. I will want
Yeah.
to even take some action myself,
Yeah.
because that is just projected into the world
Yes.
so
Yeah. And
abundantly.
maybe that's kind of like last thing we can note for this generator energy. Like we do have a very like attractive aura. Again, with that
Mhm.
magnetism, like everything we've been saying, it kind of, all adds up. But a cool thing with being a generator is like I so look forward to recording this podcast with Jenna. And she's a projector, right? So I know when I'm coming, like I get to provide this energy for this
Yeah.
conversation for Jen. Like it's a lovely gift that I'm like, ooh, I
Oh,
get to show up and I get to provide this. Like just
yeah.
being me, just my energy. Like there's no facade with that. Like
Yeah.
we get to tap in and have this energy source, but that's something I get to provide in
Hmm.
this partnership. And I have that with me no matter what. It doesn't matter how many people I'm with or where I am. Like
Yeah.
this
What career you're in
energy
or
is a real
whatever.
gift. Hmm.
Yeah. I love that. And
Yeah.
I love that you get to feel it too. Cause like obviously
Yes.
like we do, we're like, yay, I'm recording
Right.
with I mean, me and all my lions. I just meet everybody, but like I get so excited when I get to record with you.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you get to feel that too. And I think that's a
Mhm.
beautiful invitation or something for
Yeah.
generators to respond to start to like sit
Yeah.
with that feeling that like, yeah, I am a gift. Just showing up
Yes.
is a gift and being here is
Yes.
a gift. You don't
Yes.
have to burn yourself out or avoid
Mm-mm.
rest or say yes to everything.
Yep.
Your special sauce is just honoring your joy and showing up.
Yep. Yep. And it's going to look different to every single generator.
Mm, I
Yep.
love this. I feel
I
like
do
this was
too.
so juicy and joyful, and I hope everybody is benefiting from it, generator or
Yes.
not. I'm sure you
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, anything else we want to add, or maybe we wrap up here and we'll
Yeah.
share something on our Instagram at While You Wait Podcast, another question box, and maybe we'll do some
Yes.
follow-ups.
Would love it. Would love to do that. I
Q&A.
would just say for all you generators who are like, oh, I don't feel so joyful, just sit with it. Just see where that frustration is coming up because it's there, it's within you. If there is health, disease, dysfunction, that's literally just your body trying to indicate there's not alignment. Something's
Mm-hmm.
not being honored. And if you want to dive in deeper to like literally your energetics and your human design chart, reach out to us. We
Mm-hmm.
both have offers that can do that because that also was really diving deeper into my chart has been really helpful too. Like, yes, it's useful just to know your type strategy authority, but like to see this, like, I literally, like, joy is literally my personality sun. Like, oh, okay. I have
Yeah,
mine might be a little more over the top than somebody who's not. Like,
I love it.
so you can like see these things. I have an open
Yeah,
solar plexus. Okay, I'm
yeah.
going to be an extra people pleaser. So if that's intriguing to you, like reach out to us. We can definitely dive deeper.
Double shot of people pleasing over here.
Love
Um,
it.
and I think that too, that speaks to like, I mean, human design is literally a system that was channeled in here to show us how freaking unique we are. I mean,
Yes.
we're going to spend a lifetime studying our own charts and experimenting with
Yeah.
our own charts and probably not master them before we die, but like it's
Nope.
fun, it's cool, it's a
Mhm.
continuous permission slip to celebrate our uniqueness.
Yes.
And so a generator, if you're feeling stuck, like Jess said, in a box, yeah, looking at your chart is just going to show you how special you are and kind of
Yeah.
give you that special sauce
Yes. Absolutely.
that you could spread all over the world.
Yep.
As Jess so sweetly said at the beginning of the episode. Full circle here, guys.
I love it. I love it so
Go
much.
spread your special sauce. Okay, we're done. We're wrapping it up. Jess is howling.
I'm trying to contain
Oh,
my noises over here.
oh God.
Oh
No, we love
my.
them.
I hope so.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed this
Oh,
episode, please go over to Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a review. We love to see more of those come in. Keep
yeah.
us inspired, give us things to
Yeah.
respond to, invite us into some new topics. We would love
Absolutely.
that. You could also leave a rating on Spotify and, of course, message us and share our shit on Instagram at While You Wait
Please.
Podcast.
Love it. So lovely. I enjoyed this. Thank you.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love celebrating my generators.
Oh, thanks. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you generators are feeling the love too, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.